Hi, my name's Linda and I don't speak. That was me 4 years ago. And now I think you need to talk. I hardly shut up now, but I went through a really, really awful time. I shut myself away and I had thoughts of suicide for a lot of months. But looking back, I really should have talked when the thoughts started creeping into my head and the swarm of locusts came down and everything got faster and faster and faster. I do think you need to speak to somebody. You know, it's like a swarm of locusts that just descend on you, and unless you felt that pain in your head, it's worse than physical pain, and you can't describe it to anybody unless you've been there. But that swarm of locusts, it's like a merry-go-round going faster and faster and faster, and then you just believe that everything in your head is true. And it's crazy looking back because my thinking was so distorted. I mean, I thought I had a virus and was infecting the world. That's how bad it was. You know, it really was bad. And at work, people seemed to be going off ill. It was like there was a virus going around work, and I had convinced myself it was me. Just absolutely crazy. And I'd stopped eating and just stopped socialising. And I think when you do all that, people don't come and see you because it's difficult. They don't know what to say to you. I didn't seek help because I didn't think anybody would believe me, and I didn't think anybody would believe me. But the thoughts in my head were real. So it's like you're having a conversation all the time in your head, and you just don't get any help. And when you go to sleep, well, you don't sleep. I just couldn't sleep. And then when you wake up, I remember always waking up and trying to get back to sleep, willing myself to get back to sleep, and almost crying because I just didn't want to be awake, because sleeping was the only time you got your head to stop. My daughter Rachel did make me phone my GP, and I did speak to the GP, and he said, yes, it's your anxiety, come in and see me tomorrow. But I didn't go. My mum's last words were, promise me you'll look after Dad. And here I am with my 90-year-old dad, I never ever thought that would happen. But I've built myself back up. I've got lots of little quotes around my bedroom, believe in yourself. I've got the Banksy print with a girl with a red balloon. And for me, one of the reasons that I started my own mental health group was because I came out of hospital and I really had to reevaluate my life, and I've done an awful lot of thinking and just thinking about things in my head and what did happen, and just maybe forgiving myself. I think I would say that whatever you're thinking, nothing is as bad as taking your own life. Everything can be fixed. You're not a burden. You have to, I mean, suicide is a very, very hard word to say. But it needs to be said because everybody has mental health and we need to talk about it and we need to be listened to. But you need to talk to the right people. But you do need to talk, because if you don't, you're having a battle with your own head, you know, with that swarm of locusts that's, and every day it gets worse and worse and worse, and the merry-go-round gets faster and faster. Life's worth living because there's always something for everybody, and whatever you're thinking, somebody else will have thought that too. And there's an awful lot of people worry about what others think. And I used to be like that, but I'm not so much now. And people will not do something because they think, oh, you know, why would I do that? Somebody might comment. So what? You know, if you pass somebody in the street, 5 minutes later, you've forgotten who they are. And an old boss once said to me when I was paranoid, shall we say, said, Linda, I hate to tell you, but you're not that special that everybody's talking about you. You know? And do you know what? He's right. We're all humans. We're all get one shot at life. And whatever you want to do, just do it. Nothing's stopping you. You know, if you want to go to a painting class, go to a painting class. Go on your own. There'll be other people that have felt the same as you have. It's that first step. The first step's always the hardest. I mean, people are friends just waiting to be found. I think purpose is something, I think I was discussing it with somebody from another charity, and she banged a nail on the head. She said, yeah, she said, you need a purpose. And I thought, yes, I need a purpose. You need a reason to, you know, to get up in the morning, or a routine or whatever, and you need to push yourself. But talking certainly does help. With my recovery, it's helped. Because I've shared my story, and by sharing my story, you know, I've thought of a lot of things, and yeah, one of my quotes is the serenity prayer. You know, you can't change others, but you can change the way that you deal with others. Another one is don't look back, you're not going that way. And yeah, when the thoughts come into my head, I put my hand up in my, you know, in my head and just say, no, I'm not allowing that thought to come in. And I'm pushing it away and pushing it away and putting it into the red balloon, and I watch it float up into the sky, and only look back to see how far you've come. And no, I don't think I'm special. But if sharing my story helps others, then I am hope. And if you think you're not worth it, everybody's worth it. Everybody, why are you not worth it? You just have to believe, and you have to talk, and you have to be believed, and you have to be listened to, because we all have a voice.